Okay, so today I was going to show you a little bit about the MP-1 plunger by Wifler Industries. I was just going to go through a little bit about what they include and how it works. So it comes with a bunch of things. So this is a little wrench. It looks like it's just kind of a nice thing to hang on your quiver, but it actually is useful. And I'll show how that works in a second. It comes with a couple of Allen keys um, here in this package as well as extra screws and extra. Um, so yeah, so here's some extra screws here, as well as some extra magnets too, which are good for higher weights and so forth. And then there's the actual plunger itself. So I'm just going to kind of go through that here. So if so, very similar to like a biter plunger where you have a sort of a lock screw and a tension that is adjustable via clicks in this barrel. This is actually a little bit better because the biter one is a doesn't has a lock screw, but you need a flathead Allen key for it, a flathead screwdriver. Here is a quick little easy to adjust locking screw, and then you can rotate it in and out, as well as we have the barrel here that gets uh, put onto the riser itself, and that's where this comes in, this little wrench. So you can actually put this wrench here, right in there, and then adjust and tighten this onto the riser. So when it sits onto the riser, you can take your wrench and adjust it from there. Now, and you have these locking little screws here to lock this barrel onto the plunger housing there. And that's where having these extra um, little screws here, I was mentioning, are really helpful. So I'm going to take this apart and let's see what it looks like inside. I'm going to undo a lot of different twists. And then, and unlike most plungers, there are springs inside. Here, there's nothing, right? There's nothing inside here, as you can see. Okay. Now, what is inside here? So if I take out this, the plunger head here, and then we can see what this looks like inside here. It's really just this is the entire plunger head here. It's made out of metal, and it's got coating on it, so it's not going to rub off onto the arrows. And you also have a magnet here, which is a little hard to get out. There you go. So this always stays in there, so it's actually nice and long in here, so it's not going to fall out. So you can just put that in that little cup there. And these magnets will last forever. I remember Alex Wifler saying that, guarantees them for 80 years. So these, it's not going to demagnetize in any given amount of time that is going to, matter to most people. Now, on the other side of this, here's one side of the magnet. Here's the other magnet inside here. Now, you noticed in the bag that there are extra magnets. This bag I have. And these extra magnets are useful where you can take one of these, add it onto here, and what that'll do is that'll add about a full turn on here as you rotate it around. So this particularly is good for higher weights, higher bow poundages. So if you're shooting something closer to like 50 pounds, then you would need those. I find that most people will not need those added magnets, but it's good to be able to have those. Now, the way this works is that it's opposing magnetic force. So there's no spring or any mechanisms in there. So we have a magnet in there and a magnet in there. And, most magnets, if you can actually feel resistance here when I try to push these together. So so I'll show you how this works. So if I actually push this head in, see, as soon as this magnet on this side here gets close to this, push it in, it's pushing it out. If I go up here, right, it's not doing that, right? It's not doing that on either side. It's only doing that. So if the opposite magnet side here, it wants to connect. But if I go onto the other side, just basic magnetic force principles. Okay, so because of the opposing magnetic force from that, from this side, there we go, back in there, and opposing magnetic force here, that's what causes this to pop back in and out here. Okay, so it's the opposing magnetic force, which means this plunger will never wear out. It'll work forever. And in fact, in my opinion, it is able to spring back faster and is able to make sure that, you know, better than a spring or any other kind of mechanism that would be out there. So, and so I'd say this is very well made. This basically takes new technology, which is the opposing magnetic force inside here, and the concept of a micro adjustment clicking here, and improve upon it with the lock turn, the locking turn here. So hopefully that helps explain how this works. It doesn't interfere with anything else. The magnets that are inside there don't really make any difference. These other magnets here, for example, unless you get something very, very close to it, it's not going to make any difference. So it starts not having any magnetic properties basically past right about here. So you see the magnet starting to move, right? Once you get to about here, they're magnets. There's no magnetic force here, right? So when you get past about an inch or so, you don't have any magnetic force that it could potentially make any difference. So it's not going to make any difference to your arrows or anything else there, because your riser's here, your rest is here, your arrow's here. So I absolutely love this. I've used this for several years. I've never had the head wear out. This is never some of these other plungers, the head wears out or rubs down. I've never had any of this wear out or rub down. So yeah, that's my review and breakdown of the Wifler MP-1 plunger.